Hello and welcome back to the RTB Bet podcast. Liverpool this week, or last week I should say, lost Virgil van Dijk. Man City are without Kevin De Bruyne, and this week, unfortunately, we're a man down too. We're without John this week, but me, Mixer, and Adam are carrying the load for the team. How you guys doing this week after last night? All happy?
Struggling to after last night, fantastic. Very happy. Well, it's a full game. Let's not beat around the bush, but for Spurs, it was a pretty good result, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tough, gritty 1-0, which is unlike Spurs this year. So it's something new, isn't it? Again, we'll be doing what we normally do. We've got our 4 picks. John sent us in his pick with a bit of research behind it that the lads don't know about, but I'll let you in on that after I say his pick. We're going to be talking about Mesut Ozil. Obviously, he's this week in the there. Also, after the Son and Kane thing, we're going to be talking about partnerships, our favourite partnerships over the years, whether it be centre backs, right back and right wing, forwards. There'll be a bit of nostalgia thrown in there as well. So, hopefully we can give you a bit of entertainment on a cold Tuesday night. So we'll go straight into the first topic, and this is one that Adam wanted to go over this week. It's Mesut Ozil. He's becoming a bit of a we're not really seeing him as a football player anymore, guys. We're seeing him more as sort of a political,
just a PR machine, a PR machine,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
You know, PR machine / treasury, additional treasury for the Gunnosaurus.
Exactly. Yeah.
He seems to be funding the Gunnosaurus. So as long as he's there, how long's his contract? A year?
Oh, Christ knows. Yeah, it's probably longer than Mesut Ozil's anyway, I'd say so.
No, Mesut Ozil's contract. I think it's the end of the year, I think, right? So as long as Ozil's there, Gunnosaurus will have a job. But I think Ozil's leaving at the end of the year.
Are we sure it's not him in the suit? That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, trust me, that at least they're getting some money back on that 300.
No, because Gunnosaurus turns up.
Yeah, it's very true.
That's a bit harsh, actually, isn't it? I mean, I guess that's the interesting part of this, right? Is you've got Arsenal cannot create. I mean, I was listening to my friends who were complaining about their performance against Leicester, which was brilliant, and they were saying, second half they weren't able to create a chance, and there you have Mesut Ozil there, not even able to get into the squad.
Is he even training with them?
Do you know what? I don't know. I
know he got left out of one of the squads, didn't he? Was it the Europa League squad he got left out of?
Well, both the Premier League and the Europa League squad.
Oh, he got left out of the Premier League one as well.
Out of the Premier League squad. I think that's where it's really incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's 350 grand a week. There's a couple of players on that Arsenal. If they can if they can get him off of their wage structure, I think he's now second in terms of the money that they're getting paid. So. I think Aubameyang is first. Then you've got Ozil. So if you get rid of Ozil, the rest of the players, they're around about the 150 grand mark. He's up there with 350.
Surely there's a way around it. They can say, because he's not been performing, they can sort of like pay him. Surely there's something in a contract or a loophole that they can not so much get rid of him, but do something about it.
Well, would you say he's not been performing? Could you even say that?
Well,
sorry, to answer your first question, I'm not a lawyer, but no, you can't. If you've signed a contract, if you're going to pay someone that much money, you can't do that. Unless he downs tools and he doesn't turn up to training and he does things that are in breach of his contract.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if he's turning up to training, that's it. You can't say, well, you've started playing really, really badly. That's not how it goes.
He's not been playing for one thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it just seems very, very strange. I mean, he's had a bit of a... another one of my friends came in. He was a bit of a conspiracy theory here, so don't quote me on this. But he came out against the mistreatment of the Uyghurs a couple of months back, didn't he? Maybe even a year ago, actually, before we saw those things pop up on.
Yeah, it was quite controversial when he did that, wasn't it? It was, to be fair, brave on his part, but some say stupid.
Well, we've seen what happens to some of those NBA players. So some of the NBA players that came out in protest of China, they didn't play. They stopped playing. Their they're not clubs, are they? They're teams, or yeah, I guess they're basketball clubs. Are they clubs in basketball? I'm not sure.
Franchises or whatever they call them over there. Yeah.
They stop those players from playing in the game, and I do know that the Premier League are also struggling to get a renegotiation. I think Mixer, you were the one who brought this up. Actually, they're trying to get a renegotiation with the Chinese.
Yeah, I think I remember because when we did the old we was talking about the Premier League TV rights, that I think it was China or that sort of that, yeah, it's China that didn't have a rights to any TV games because of for some, I can't remember the ins and outs, but yeah, there was definitely something about it.
Yeah, so the let's put 2 and 2 together and get 7. You never know. Maybe there's something behind the scenes where they say, well, look, this person's, the Chinese have got a bit of a issue with what this person has said, and to try and sort of distance the Premier League away from Mesut Ozil. Maybe that's why one of the reasons why. It doesn't make sense though. It doesn't make sense when you've got someone of his quality there, and you're paying him all of that money. I mean, you saw what Spurs did with Christian Eriksen. He was already out the door, but when they had 20 minutes to go, they were willing to play him, right? They were willing to see if they could get something out of him. It just doesn't make sense with Ozil.
No, it doesn't. And obviously he had the incident last. Again, I don't know if it was last year. I've lost all sort of concept of time since COVID.
Especially with him, right? Because I don't remember the last time I've seen him play.
Exactly, but obviously he was attacked. Him and Kolasinac was attacked as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
And he also, I'm pretty sure he also had some political views on the Turkish government as well. So
yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's sort of very busy off the field, isn't he? So it's a tough one because, as you say, watching the game, I only watched the first half of the Leicester Arsenal game. That is one thing that they seem to be lacking. Obviously, Dani Ceballos, he's a lovely footballer, but he doesn't seem to find that incisive pass at the right time, which is what Ozil done. I know Ozil was criticised for not doing much of the physical side and running around, but if you want someone to play a ball at the right time, and I bet you Aubameyang must be screaming out for him as well. That's one thing. Like,
I was just thinking, if you've got Lacazette, Pepe, and Aubameyang as your front three, and then you just put in someone like Ozil just behind. Okay, I understand defensively you might suffer a little bit because those guys might not be willing to track back so hard, but that's frightening. I mean, I remember when those three turned up in the front line against Spurs, I thought, Arsenal have got a really good front line, super dangerous, super powerful, super pacey.
Yeah, like the introduction of Fernandes to the front three of Man United, the difference that he made when he came in. Ozil, I'm not comparing the two players. I think Fernandes is obviously a lot younger and there's different parts of his game that Ozil doesn't have, but that killer pass is what Arsenal were missing. They weren't creating many chances. A lot of their chances were from shots outside the box, snapshots. Did they even have a shot on target? I'm not sure they had a shot on target in that game. So it's it's an interesting one. But so do you feed into this conspiracy theory that it's a China thing, or do you think it's a club thing? Arteta not getting on. What's your sort of thought?
Actually, do you know what I really think? I mean, that for me, that's just internet stuff I've heard. Do you know what I really think? I think Arteta is trying. Arteta's there for a good 5 years, right? They're going to give him a long time to get his team around.
Yeah.
I remember, when Spurs had Pochettino at the very beginning, there were some big name casualties, right? I think Adebayor, for example. I think Adebayor was by far the biggest paid.
Sort of weeding out the old sort of rubbish, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. I think weeding him out. And just think this time. I mean, because they have plans, right? The manager will have a plan. He'll have a plan with his director of football. Guess what? By the time April, May, June comes around, they've got an extra 350 grand per week to put on that budget. They can get rid of an extra couple of players as well. I think there's other players at the end of their contracts. If they can get rid of them, then all of a sudden, the next summer's looking interesting for them. They've got plenty of space in their budget for their operational expenses that they're paying wages. You could attract two very, very good footballers for what they're paying him.
And it's ultimately down to the club, isn't it? Because I remember seeing something, I think it might have been at the start of the transfer window, about Bournemouth. Bournemouth have still got Asmir Begovic as their highest paid player, I believe. And I don't think he's played for the club for over a year. I think he might be on something like 80 grand a week. And obviously he's in the Championship now, but he's not moved on. So they're still paying him that amount a week in the Championship. And ultimately, it falls down to the club putting him on a long-term contract, and I think the club with Ozil maybe could have been smarter with the contracts. Arsenal are pretty renowned for not being that clever with the contracts, obviously letting contracts run down and stuff.
I've seen their top players that are getting paid. They've got their Greek centre back. He doesn't even get a sniff anymore.
Oh, Socrates, yeah. Oh, wow.
I think he's either on 92 to 100,000.
Oh, blimey.
92 to 100,000. So yeah, I don't think they are too smart with the way that they offer out their contracts. That's probably why they haven't been so active in the transfer window. That's probably why they're when I look at their squad, I think they're in a bit of trouble long term because look at players like Willian and Aubameyang. They've got about a year in them, maybe 2 at the top level. I don't see any. I mean, yes, he's like really exciting player at left wing back, but you never know how you don't know how well he's going to develop. You look at their back line. You don't see any real superstars coming out there. Tierney, not sure really. Guendouzi's another one sitting there, not getting developed. Doesn't look like.
Yeah, he's gone. I think he's gone on loan now, hasn't he? Has he gone on loan?
I think he has left. He left over the summer, didn't he? There's a lot of players there that I think for me it smells of transition year for them, and I think Arteta will probably want to really, really revamp the squad. But I don't know where they're going to get the money from this season. Unless they get rid of players. So I think for the long term, get rid of Ozil, free up some budget. Also, he's an example to all the other players, right?
Saying that it doesn't matter how much you're on. If you're not performing, we're not going to play you.
Yeah.
Yep. And to go back to your original point, Mixer, when you were saying, can't you do something? Is there a way around paying him? There isn't, but there's a way around structuring your contract, and you could do it with performance-related bonuses,
of course,
bonuses and things like that. I think Daniel Levy's quite good at that. I think a lot of the players, I think Tottenham's players are very, very well paid when they're performing. When they're not performing, then they drop down to a lower level.
Well, look at Dele Alli. It's the same sort of principle, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know what his basic is, but I'm guessing he's on performance-related bonuses. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
No, I mean as in the Ozil thing where they're not afraid to not play him. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, actually, that's probably one for another pod. Actually, Dele Alli is another. I mean, he falls into the same category as well, right?
Definitely falls into the same bracket, doesn't he? Yeah, and it's a weird one, obviously, because looking at Arsenal this season, I think Arteta's doing a good job. Personally, I think, obviously, as a Spurs fan, it's sort of hard to say that, but he's gotten well organised, which is something that Arsenal fans, I'm sure, would agree they haven't been over the last few years. But ultimately, I guess it falls down to they haven't been in the Champions League, so how can you attract these bigger players? Obviously, they've got Pepe in. For me, I'm yet to see. Obviously, it's a big price tag, and that's not his fault. But I'm yet to see that sort of player develop yet. I think Ceballos is a good signing, but I think we spoke about it before on several podcasts. It's not where they needed to strengthen, So again, that falls to the club. I know they've bought a couple of centre halves, but sort of yet to see it. But I don't know if you guys agree. Arteta's doing a good job there. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think
to an extent, yeah.
Do you want to elaborate?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, he's done well. Like obviously, he's not even been there a year yet. Am I right?
Feels like longer.
Yeah, I think it might be longer.
Well, anyway, but he's got on performing in a way that he likes, obviously. But obviously,
won a couple of trophies as well.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, I won't lie, I did forget about that.
Yeah, that FA Cup win was phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly,
I feel like Frank Lampard lost that one more than he won it because I think Arsenal were there for the taking, and Lampard tried to, with Arsenal. I mean, Leicester showed if you want to beat Arsenal, you play, percentage football, and you try and win your battles, and eventually you'll probably beat them, right? You try to, you saw what happened over the weekend. Lampard went out and tried to out-football Arsenal, which was very naive. So, on one hand, yes, I think he did very well to win it. That's brilliant for him, and also shows those players have got a good mentality, right? Even when they're not winning, let's say league games, and they're finishing 8th in the table, they're still able to go out and win, trophies, which is actually a very good attribute to have. And it shows they'll be dangerous in the Europa League as well this year. But at the same time, I just don't see the long-term future. And I think that's maybe what the board sees, and I think Arteta's definitely the right guy to take them forward. He's worked under some of the top managers. He knows what the club's about, and he has a vision. And I think it's just about giving him 2 to 3 more years now, and see what can he do. Can he realize that vision?
That's the essential thing, isn't it? I think it's not firing him too soon and giving him time to develop that project. And again, I'm sure we'll probably talk about this on a later podcast throughout the year, but it's psyching up to be quite a battle for them top 4 or 5 positions, because there's a lot of clubs up there that we wasn't expecting. Will they fall away? Will they stay there? So it's going to be a fight up there. So I'm sort of looking forward to seeing who's up there, who's not. I'm hoping they're not, but
anyone in the top half of the table could put a run together.
Yeah,
I think anyone in that top half of the table from last year, maybe say up to ninth can put a run together and be a challenge this year, because there is no standout team at all, especially now Van Dijk has been injured. There's no standout team.
Yeah, it opens it all up, doesn't it? Right, we're going to go on to the bet. This week we are match week 7 this week, I believe.
Yes.
So I'll go through the fixtures. We've got a Friday night game this week, which is Wolves against Crystal Palace. That's a brave one if anyone wants to touch that one. We've got Saturday, we've got Sheffield United against Man City, Burnley against Chelsea, Liverpool against West Ham. Then on the Sunday, we've got Aston Villa against Southampton, Newcastle against Everton, Man United Arsenal, Spurs Brighton, and then on the Monday, Fulham against West Brom and Leeds against Leicester. As I say, John's not here this week, but he has sent in his pick, and it's going to thrill Adam, who he's chose this week. He has chosen a Mr. Harry Kane this week, so he's gone back to basics.
Back to basics, pick the most informed striker.
And he has actually sent me a message saying, and I'm not going to do it in his voice, but this is exactly it. And he wanted me to read it out. He specified.
Can I do it in his voice?
He specified, please read it out, everything I've sent, word for word. So here it goes. Adam, I am sure right now you are up to your knees in tears, snot and saliva after spluttering out your smashed avocado upon hearing my choice. I would like to remind you that last week you picked the Leeds top goal scorer, in brackets, who drew a blank. This week I have chosen a player who hasn't scored in nearly 3 hours of league football, which by his own very high standards is a drought. So before judging, respect the research. Any reply to that, Adam?
No, I think it's a good choice.
You got
I like that. I like that reply. That will annoy him even more.
I can't even. Okay, it's a good choice. Actually, I was thinking of going for him this week. Actually, so I'm glad he beat me to it. It means that I can go. It means that I can go for the. Well, I mean, it's not my choice yet, is it?
No.
No, I won't. I won't do it.
Yeah. So it's me next, I believe, and I'm gonna go for a bit of a risky one. Well, I think it is. I'm going to go for Mitrovic. It's Fulham against West Brom on Monday night. Yet again,
That's a terrible choice, by the way.
I was stuck between two. And last time I was stuck between...
What was the other one?
It was Sterling. It was the other one. And last time I didn't choose him, he scored. So I'm sort of risking it here.
Can I just say I saw Mitrovic play recently. He was awful.
Really?
He's terrible. He's not in form. He doesn't look fit.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm sticking with it. Good try though. No, I'm going to stick with it because they're playing West Brom. I know West Brom seem to got their because turned the corner a bit, got their defence sorted. Brighton obviously last night 1-1 draw, but I've got a funny feeling that Mitrovic might be a player that just needs that one goal to start his goal scoring off. I think he takes penalties as well. So that's my pick. Again, it's not as obvious as Harry Kane, I know, but
we can't all be John.
Exactly. Right, and carrying on from Harry Kane, obviously a lot's been made, especially if you was watching Sky last night, of the Kane and Son partnership, which, to be fair, I know we're biased. All three of us on here are biased, but it has been amazing to watch this year, the way they're linking up. And I wanted to sort of throw it back, maybe a bit of nostalgia thrown in here, of great partnerships over the years. I was actually very shocked, I don't know about you guys, to see that Sheringham and Anderton were on the graphic last night, which was pretty nice, to be honest.
That is a throwback.
Yeah, a bit of nostalgia there. But anyone that stands out for you guys in particular over the years that was a great partnership and you love watching them play?
I think for me, I think they're the two that are the only two that are now above Kane and Son at the moment are Drogba and Lampard at Chelsea. I remember, I think it was around obviously when Mourinho was at the club, they just could not stop scoring, the pair of them, and it weren't even a case of they were just scoring with each other, if you know what I mean. They were just scoring goals from anywhere, and it just happened that 28 of the times it was with each other. I really enjoyed watching them play. Like I say, enjoyed. It was hard as a Spurs fan back then watching Chelsea do so well. Yeah, but we respected them. That is definitely what I'd say, and they just played really well together.
My first partnership that made me. I mean, I fell in love watching football with the French national team in around about 1998 when they won it, all the way around to about 2004, and the first partnership that was just incredible was, and my favorite player is Zinedine Zidane, and Zidane and Lizarazu was just one of the most incredible partnerships. Left back, and Zidane would sort of be in the free role, but he'd normally play off of the left. So Zidane and Lizarazu was one of the most incredible ones, and then also Zidane and Roberto Carlos. I remember I used to go and this is when Champions League was on ITV.
Yeah, and
Lee
Dixon on the.
I think it was even worse than that at the time. I can't even remember who was on the punditry, but I remember you used to stay up till they used to do like even commercial breaks at half time during so you'd actually watch the highlights, and they'd put Real Madrid at the end because at the time they were the Galacticos, and I just remember even to this day I just remember this one where Figo switches it from right to left to Zidane, and Zidane's obviously got a call from Roberto Carlos to say, I'm overlapping, I'm making a run, and just with one touch, he sort of with the inside of his right foot, he sort of just with one touch plays it through his own legs right into Roberto Carlos's path, and it's just like, wow, this is football. And I really enjoy that sort of partnership winger relationship. I think from when I was watching Spurs as well, I liked Dawson and King together because King would make Dawson look like a good player.
Yeah.
But also Corluka and Aaron Lennon. I used to love those two together.
Do you know what? That's not a bad shout. That.
No.
It was yin and yang. It worked because it so shouldn't work. But Corluka seemed to. I do that. That's one that's actually thrown me, but I like that.
It's true because it's true. It was yin and yang because without Lennon, Corluka was in trouble. But Lennon fed off of so many of Corluka's clever passes, and even though I remember thinking those two were a really great partnership as well. I'm loving the current partnership as well. But I mean, I think you also have to respect the Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp one.
Oh, absolutely. That was
always going to be one we was going to mention.
Yeah, because I thought Bergkamp was a genius. Obviously, Henry had all of the physical attributes. He was quick, strong, and his finishing was amazing. But just the mind of Dennis Bergkamp, I thought, made Thierry Henry a far, far better player.
Well, it's funny you say that. Henry was an incredible player. That's a fact beyond doubt. But I used to watch Henry for France, and he used to play up front with Trezeguet. And he was nowhere near the player he was when he was for Arsenal, right? And he would just be marked out of games. But Dennis Bergkamp could just unlock something in him. Their relationship was just incredible. And that's not to take away anything from Henry. It's just as a partnership was incredible. What about talking about top partnerships? What about Keane and Berbatov?
See, that was sort of in my reckoning. I sort of picked out 4 that I think were. It's hard to say whether they're world class or not, but they were very close, Keane and Berbatov. But it's just for me that they didn't sort of. Then again, I'm thinking about the other ones I've put in. I can't really say because they didn't win anything. They did work, but it's such a tough one. See, I'll mention the 4 that I was thinking before. Gerrard and Torres for me was definitely one that I remember just watching and thinking.
That's a good choice, actually. Yeah,
these guys just. Again, that's why I can't say that
they just get each other.
Yeah, exactly. They just seem to work. The other one that I was gonna throw in there was York and Cole back in the day, back in the 90s.
Yeah.
They were brilliant together.
What about SAS? Sheringham.
Yeah, exactly. Throwing that one in as well. But that was that was
Blackburn, wasn't it?
Blackburn as well.
And England.
Yeah, and then you had. For me, Ferdinand and Vidic were the best centre half pairing I've seen.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd probably go Terry and Carvalho.
Yes,
no, I'm
interesting.
sorry.
Interesting.
Yeah, Carvalho for me, I never really rated. I know
Oh,
that's
I love Carvalho. He was
that's
yin. It was yin and yang, those two. I think obviously Terry and Vidic also yin and yang as well. I mean, sorry, Rio and
Ferdinand.
Vidic.
Yeah,
Because Rio. I mean, it's funny. I remember Gary Neville made that comment. He said, when Rio Ferdinand was going to do boxing, he said, "What are you going to do? You're going to sit back and let Vidic take all the punches, right?" And that was that was their relation. He was a great sweeper, and they just made each other work. Yeah, it's a good choice.
and to be fair, talking of him, he was actually my last choice. Him and Beckham on the right hand side for United. I remember watching them live when I was probably um, early teens, and some of the stuff again, like the Gerrard and Torres thing, they just got each other. Beckham would come inside and Neville would go around the outside. I just thought they worked
What
perfectly
about
together.
in that thing? What about Ronaldo and Rooney?
Yeah, again, they were.
It didn't feel like a partnership, those two, though. It felt like a bit of a. It felt like a
They
bit
were
of
just
a.
two good players.
Two
rival- yeah.
world-class players.
That's
Yeah,
fair. Yeah.
The thing about Rooney though is Rooney made that Man United team so he was the clock. Him and Carrick, I felt like they were the battery in the clock that made them tick. Because Rooney would make lots of players around him play very, very well.
Yeah.
Obviously Ronaldo's just out of this world, but Ronaldo's Ronaldo. But even after Ronaldo left, Rooney was still that type of player. But I don't feel like they were a partnership. If that makes sense.
because I find it fascinating how it works. Because obviously, there's this lifelong debate about the Gerrard and Lampard thing that they could never play in the same team for England, which I thought was nonsense. But
Always thought it was nonsense.
yeah, but it seemed to be.
It wasn't complete nonsense. It wasn't complete nonsense. If you played the right system, the fact is they played 4-4-2, and they made Gerrard sit. If you're going to put Carrick in there with those two, then you've got an amazing system. But then they didn't want to do that. They could have put Rooney on the left and made. So sorry, let's not get into that debate again because I'll go mad.
No, it's true because the reason I would sort of say that is because watching the Monday Night Football last night and they were discussing Man United as they normally do and the midfield options, and they've gone with Fred and McTominay over the last two games and they've seen a massive improvement. And it's so odd when you look at the players you've got Pogba, Fernandes, Van der Beek. All the Mata even I think is a world class footballer. Well, maybe not now, but he was, But Fred and McTominay are getting in the team and they're improving things. It's just because they're a partnership, They when one goes, one stays, and it's just amazing how a little thing like that, like an understanding, helps the team so much. You can see it with Spurs this year. Their understanding is so good between the two of them, and it's creating chances.
Yeah,
and the thing was, I don't know if you saw it after, just as he scored, he sort of saw Kane run into him and said, "Oh, did you assist?" And they just seemed so happy to be helping each other score.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at when Spurs got Toby Alderweireld. Look how much Jan Vertonghen turned from this very good centre back into a really, really consistent centre back. I remember for France. Again, I'm just saying this because this is when I really started to love football. Makelele and Vieira together. Was it Gilberto and Vieira as well in that Arsenal midfield?
The invincible side, yeah.
Yeah,
about? I've got another one. You might take the mickey, but the two Coles on the left for Chelsea, Ashley and Joe Cole.
I would say Ashley Cole.
And for England.
I don't feel like that Chelsea team ever had great pairs on the wings though. I'm just trying to think who they had on the wings. I remember they had Robin on one side for a little while.
Damien Duff sometimes.
They had Malouda.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What a player.
Kalu,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel they've done anything. I don't feel they've got any partnerships that make you go, that was incredible type of partnership. I would have said Ashley Cole and Pires. I would have said that partnership was one of the probably the most potent partnership on the left wing. I would have thought. Who did Man United have in that period on that left back?
Evra,
yeah. No, I think Ashley Cole and Pires is probably one of the best.
Evra and Nani.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to go for partnerships across the pitch, if you were to say, let's do it like this. Let's go for partnerships. See who we've got at this. As centre back, what was your best ever Premier League partnership, or partnership in world football that you've ever seen? Because I want to maybe include some from other leagues as well.
Oh, world football, that throws it out there, doesn't it? I'm going to stick with Ferdinand and Vidic for me.
Not Maldini, Nesta.
Oh,
it's a lot. There's a lot of good ones out there, right? Okay, Ferdinand and Vidic is a good one. Fine, I'm happy to go with that one.
I'd go with that because they just for me, obviously, obviously they were in my era of watching football a lot, and they just complemented each other so well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Let's go with those two. Special mention to Terry Carvalho and
King and Dawson.
Yeah, King and Dawson and Nesta Maldini. What about left back and left wing? For me, it's got to be Pires and Ashley Cole. If you can find a
I'll
better
go with
one,
that.
Mix. If you can find a better one, I salute you.
I'm not. You're gonna
Carlos and Guti. No.
Carlos and Roberto. Well, first you could have Carlos and Zidane, because Zidane played on that left side quite a lot for them, didn't he?
No, I'd be happy to go with Cole and Pires.
I like Cole and Pires as well.
Yeah. I think the right hand side, I'm gonna throw Neville and Beckham at you, but again, it's up to you guys.
Salgado and Figo.
Corluka and Lennon.
Corluka and Lennon. I think if we were to narrow it down to let's narrow it down to Premier League, because we otherwise it gets really messy, right? Yeah, I think you're right. On the right hand side, I'd have to go with that. I'm not sure if we got Mixer's vote for the left position.
Oh yeah.
You'd have to go for what's it called? Did you say? I forgot what you said now.
Cole and Pires.
Yeah, I think you just can't beat them, to be honest.
The only one I could think of is maybe Giggs and Owen.
Yeah.
I think those two, right? We're going a traditional 4-4-2, right?
Yeah.
And then then your central midfield. There's lots to choose from. You got your Keane and Scholes. You've got Vieira and Gilberto. You've got Genus and Pedro Mendes.
How about not Scott Brown? What was his name? Michael Brown, Sean Davis. What a pairing!
My goodness, that was horrendous, wasn't it? Oh, what a bad era of football that was. That one's hard to choose from, isn't it? Because
I'm stuck between two, and they're from the same era.
Alonso and Gerrard.
That was one of them, and my other one was actually Carrick and Darren Fletcher. That was my other one.
Darren Fletcher's a great shout. Brilliant shout.
I think I'm going to go with underrated.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gerrard and Alonso purely because.
Do you know what? The only reason I think can I just before you make that choice, that midfield was actually Alonso Mascherano, and it was Gerrard and Torres that were the partnership up front. So can you really?
Yeah, he was in a 10, wasn't he? Yeah, that's true.
That's the only question.
All right, yeah, that's fine. That's made my decision for me. Carrick and Fletcher it is.
Yeah.
Who would you go for, Victor?
Yeah, Carrick and Fletcher. It's not one I would have thought of. So it was definitely one that, like Sean saying, it took me by surprise. I'm just thinking how good they actually were.
And when you think of what they won,
how many titles?
Year,
I was going to say how many titles they won together.
Yeah, exactly.
Champions League final as well. I think they might have even won it if Fletcher didn't get that yellow card to get him suspended for the final. I think, you know what? I liked Mascherano and Alonso a lot. Makelele and Lampard, but I guess they played in a 3, didn't they, normally? So I guess I can't really say that. I'm going to go with I think we got full house, actually. I think but for modern football, they are excellent. Although it's really harsh to say that for Roy Keane and Paul Scholes and Vieira and Gilberto. But yeah, I'm going to go with you. So then, what about your front two? Keane and Berbatov?
No, I'm going with who already mentioned Bergkamp and Henry for me.
What about? Here's one to throw at you: Torres and Dirk Kuyt.
No. Yeah, I like that. Like that.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm with you there.
Anyway, Dirk Kuyt played on the right wing.
But do you know what I mean?
Kuyt used to be a nuisance.
Exactly.
Absolute nuisance.
He used to do all the dirty stuff and all the ugly stuff. And Torres used to just admittedly score the great goals, but do you know what I mean?
I think this is outrageous.
Okay.
He just derailed the conversation completely.
How about Roque Santa Cruz and Jason Roberts at Blackburn?
Oh wow.
Partnership.
All right, here's another one. Crouch and Defoe. At multiple clubs.
Crouch and Van der Vaart.
I was going to say that as well.
Oh, goodness me. That was a good one. I mean, to compare Crouch and Van der Vaart and Dirk Kuyt to Bergkamp and Henry is a bit of a tough one to make. Although, Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard, that could also be your partnership as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish we had time to prep this and we didn't think of this on the spot because this is
It's true.
it's a cracker.
There's gonna be some lovely
It is.
stats to come out of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think I'm going to have to agree with you, Bergkamp and Henry, because they weren't just effective. They played beautiful stuff.
yeah. And what we'll do is we won't tell John we've had this discussion, and we'll just get him to go first next week and see what he comes up with.
Yeah, and then we can make it our own topic.
Yeah, we can see how many he got that were close to ours.
Yeah, deal.
sounds
So
like a plan.
we'll post our team on our Facebook page, and if anybody would like to say, okay, what would they like to have, please feel free to post.
Yeah, exactly that. Right, yeah, going back to choices, and this week third is you, Adam, I believe. So who are you going with this week?
The one and only Chris Wood. And
No thinking about it.
And the reason why, I've had plenty of time to think about it since yesterday. The reason why is because, so this is my thought process. We only win when I choose Chris Wood. That's the first reason.
Very true.
Right? We've only ever won.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay. Second reason is looking at Burnley yesterday. They are a tough team, and they get the ball into the box. And my feeling about Chelsea is that they're men against boys, and they're generally the boys this season. So I think this is going to be a team of superior footballers who are boys versus professionals, who are, let's say, inferior footballers, but they're men. And I reckon they're going to give them a really, really tough time. I felt this about Chelsea since they lost that penalty shootout to Spurs, because normally Spurs look like the team, you played so well, but you lost on penalty shootouts because you don't have the minerals.
I'll tell you what, here's the thing. I said this to Sean the other night, and I reckon, do Chelsea remind you of us a few years ago now?
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I feel like Lampard's bringing in, it's great to play. That FA Cup final spoke so much, so much to me. Thinking they could outplay an Arsenal team. Generally, you can't do that, but it's very easy to beat them if you're, robust. I feel like he's doing the same thing. Oh yeah, we got so far, but we lost.
I think it's not tomorrow. Next week on what day is that game? Saturday, I believe. That will be the real test for this new goalkeeper, Mendy. He's played well against Man United, made some great saves. Obviously, that awkward pass back, but
shot stopping's not possible, is it?
Yeah, Burnley is a different kettle of fish. When you're coming from a league like the French league and you come into a game against Burnley where I'm going to mention it. I know I spoke to you about it last night, Mixer.
Yeah.
Twice in the last 10 minutes, Hugo Lloris come out.
So when those corners came in, he grabbed the ball, fell on it, calmed everything down, calmed, I think, me down for one thing.
Exactly.
It was just so commanding.
The whole team, isn't it? Yeah, and I think that's a test for the new keeper.
But anyone that's played at amateur level, you've played at amateur level, Sean, right? When you've got, you sometimes, I don't know what it's like for you, but when you've got a goalkeeper, normally you have to bring a ringer in.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because they're the hardest breed to find, right, and a good one as well. And when you see one come in, the first 5 minutes and a cross comes in, and you see a goalkeeper go and grab it and catch it, and you're like, this is you get more confident. You feel good as a player. It takes so much pressure, and actually you don't see that happen with goalkeepers so much nowadays. They normally elect to punch and try and get some distance on the punch, so it's like a header. But seeing that from Lloris yesterday was like, you're a real leader. And I just thought there's two players who just felt to me captain material on the pitch were Kane when he made that block in the last minute of the game, and then Lloris as well. He was just super commanding, and he just didn't look like he was going to make a mistake, not like last season.
Unflappable, yeah, definitely.
You say that now.
I know,
Which happens on Sunday.
Touching all the wood around me. Right, Mixer, last pick this week. Who are you going for?
He was one of the players I think a lot of us have gone for the most. And he didn't score last week, but he scored many weeks before. I'm going for the Newcastle-Everton game. And I am going for... where's he gone? Oh, yeah, Calvert-Lewin. Sorry.
Lewin, yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm going for Calvert-Lewin. I think Everton didn't play... He didn't score on the weekend. So I think... They're playing Newcastle. Everton. It's Newcastle-Everton Sunday at 2:00. So I think against Newcastle, he's going to get a goal.
I like how you brought this up this week, because if you brought this up any other week and Southampton had just beaten Everton, we would have had a barrage of Southampton, how well they played, and this is why Calvert-Lewin didn't score. But well done on bringing it up on the week that
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
Shout. Yeah. Right, yeah, so I've got the odds here, and it's a fourfold accumulator as we normally do. It's at 24.42 to 1. So £5 stake will return £127.12p. So yeah, here's hoping we'll be back next week with that in our pockets, and hopefully we'll have all 4 of us here again next week. But cheers, guys, for this week, and we'll speak to you later.
Thanks very
Lovely,
much, John.
cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
See you.